Hey guys, welcome to Behind the Brave with me, Ryan V, and our awesome guest today, Mark Cameron, who is an awesome photographer. He's been doing his thing for 30 plus years. You know, fashion, beauty, swimwear, advertising, portraiture, wildlife, you name it, he's done it. So, Mark, welcome to Behind the
Thank
Brave.
you, thank you.
Yeah,
It's an honor to be here and super grateful.
awesome.
Yeah,
You're the first
thank
guest
you,
that
Ryan.
you're the first guest that we have on the channel, so it's a real privilege for me to have you here, Mark.
Awesome,
And
awesome. Thank you for having me. And yeah,
oh, thanks,
super
man.
stoked.
Looking forward to our chat.
Yeah,
So you can kick it off, Mark. Your journey as a photographer, where did that start?
yeah, sure. Um, it was kind of my late teen years, I'd say 16, 17 years old. We moved back into the bush in Swaziland, my dad being in the mining industry, and went to quite a remote area. It was called Doklaweo, not far from the Mozambique border. And just being in kind of a lot of kind of more rural, I decided to my uncle gave me a camera and started to shoot snakes and birds and just had an interest in photography just kind of erupted. I didn't take it seriously. I wasn't doing it at school or anything like that. But by the end of matric, thinking about what am I going to do with my life, and decided to apply for photographic course at Natal Technikon. And profoundly, the aptitude test that I did said, you won't be a photographer. So that was like, I was like pretty, yeah, it wasn't a nice thing to hear. And the day before the course started, in fact, they called up my parents and said, well, we have an opening, you can bring your son. And that's kind of where it began. I was just playing around at home, shooting bits and pieces, but nothing, film days, 35 mil. And that's kind of where the journey began, is going to study at Technikon, and obviously being very practical. It was awesome, learning, processing your first black and white roll of film.
Different to today.
I'll never forget that. Yeah, I'm shooting my first roll of black and white and getting in a dark room, loading it, in a developing tank, and just that whole process as it is so special. And I still believe, even in this digital age, when people do embrace the analog side and actually, especially black and white, it does something different in you than just seeing an image on a screen. So yeah, that's where it began. And basically, I signed up for a 3-year course. I finished my first year and really enjoyed it, and did my second year and actually flunked my practical photography in that second year. All the other subjects I passed. And yeah, it was also due to a lot of stuff that had gone on in my life at that point. As a young, 18-year-old, I'll just share, and it's part of life. I'd gone through a difficulty, finding my mom in a situation where she had tried to take her own life.
Wow.
Having to rush her to hospital. I just moved to a town that I'd never been in. So yeah, that had an impact on my life, and kind of took me into a place of really just being a bit wild in my second year, I'll be honest. And but God's hand was still there. Amen. So, but yeah, in my second year, I started shooting more portraiture and tests, and my interest in wildlife photography, that's actually what inspired me to study photography, kind of went out of the back door in a sense. And I always say I turn to the real wildlife, which is people. Yeah, it's a journey.
Yeah.
And the journey's still going. Yeah.
So yeah, as a young photographer, going into an industry, with fashion, beauty, models, surrounded by beautiful people all the time. I think there's always a preconceived idea of what that industry is, all about.
Yes.
Maybe you can tell our viewers a bit about how you perceived the industry. I mean, being
Yeah.
in it,
Yeah, it's I think the perception of people generally of the fashion industry, the movie industry, Hollywood, is always, you hear from people like, it's, the drugs and the parties and all of this. And, one sees that, but yet it exists in many other professions.
Yeah.
I think it's purely because of the limelight that comes upon that industry that people assume that's all that takes place, and that it's just all kind of evil, and be careful of that industry, and yet there's people are people.
Yeah.
And they come into a place of either being chosen as a model, or someone decides to be a photographer and they might land up in the fashion industry, or a director who's in the film industry making movies. So I think for me, I've always said it's the perception of the world, and purely because of magazines, newspapers shining the light on that industry and highlighting those things, whereas they exist in every other place. Just from my life living a bit, I can definitely validate that. I've been through my madness, and it wasn't really something that was just influenced by an industry that I was in. Many of those issues of life, from drugs, alcohol, are means to actually dull surface. They're on the surface to push away pain. People go through stuff in life, and either to coping mechanisms, and yet you get to a point in life where you realize there's only one coping mechanism, and his name is Jesus Christ, Yeshua. I can tell you that from experience, and people have their choice to believe what they want to believe. God gives a free will. So yeah, but it's also a beautiful industry, because people, I always say God is in the people business. So when I would be like, as my career just kind of blossomed, I'd say in a sense, from 23 doing my first cover, and pretty much from there it just propelled. I was within 2-3 years traveling to various destinations in the world with magazines, with retail companies to shoot campaigns, and getting commissions, and it just picked up, and you just kind of go with it. But the amazing thing is you're meeting different people in my workplace, like if every day. So from your teams of people that were booked, from hair and makeup artists to stylists, to your models, to your photographic assistants. In those days we had more permanent guys working with us. In the last couple of years it's changed a lot more of a freelance base of assistants working with photographers on set. Because back in the day we were shooting back to back. I mean, the start of my career, I would shoot literally 30 days a month. It was non-stop. So it just increased. I went like that for years, and it takes a lot of energy as well. And it just kind of flowed. But the beauty of the industry, which I call, that's like a people industry, and so is any business. People are dealing with people around them, but the thing being a photographer, you're not just arriving at the same workplace every day. It has different destinations, from studios, and especially when we're working out of rental studios, and I eventually had my own studio for about 12 years. So people be coming in there, and we'd also work at others, but then you're on locations. I always say, you like, this is my office for the day. You're either on the beach, or you're in the mountains, or you're on a farm somewhere. It could be anywhere, someone's house, corporate buildings. It's just, it opened opportunities to be in different places and different positions, where I say it's the way I see it now in the spiritual realm is like longitude and latitude, GPS, God's positioning system. It all has significance. Where we place our feet and where you walk every day is very important, and it has impact. But more than that, the beauty of relating to different people, their stories, what they were coming in with. And I was always something from my young days as being a photographer, very kind of aware of people's feelings on set, and I think it was kind of like, whether one would call it prophetic or whatever, the Holy Spirit inside of you, because even before I kind of had this open eye vision, and how God really spoke to me to draw me back, in a sense, in 1998, which I'll talk about a bit later. It was wild, but it marked me. But even before that, I just had a sensitivity to people, and I grew up going to 13 schools, My dad being in the mining industry, and moved. I was born in Swaziland, went to Namibia or Southwest Africa back in the day, then we were in the Free State, Western Transvaal, Eastern Transvaal, Natal, the Highveld, Johannesburg area, different parts of Johannesburg. So my young days actually established me in training in dealing with different characters, different people, different cultures, because even every province has like a different cultural feel to it. So it was a great training in a sense to deal with people who I'd have to photograph and what these people are like. I'd always hear people who went to the military would say, you'll end up in a bunk, bunking with people that are from all walks of life. And that is life, everybody has a journey and a walk, and I just love people's stories. Yeah, I did end of my third year, or during my third year, I did a thesis, and we all had to do a thesis, and I called it Soul Images. It was based on pretty much just timeless portraiture, straight portraiture, and came from kind of the thing where in African culture, growing up in different parts of Africa and being born in Swaziland,